Okay, so we're looking at minor chords in this lesson. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of detail as to what's the best way of fretting each chord, your best hand position, but if you need any more information you can always review the starter technique lesson on chords. Now we're going to present each chord at a time in a separate chapter, so if you're using this as a reference you can fast forward through to get to the relevant chord that you need to relearn. So to start with, we're looking at A minor. Now I'm going to push down I'm going to use finger 1 and I'm going to push down fret 1 on string 2, and then I'm going to use finger 2 and I'm going to push down fret 2 on string 4, and then I'm going to tuck finger 3 underneath on fret 2 of string 3. And generally we want to strum through the top 5 strings. So reaching round a little bit with my wrist, not too much but just enough so again I'm not too flat with my fingers. It's quite common for people to catch string 1 with the first finger. Remember, you've got to push down hard enough on fret 1 as well. But it's not too difficult a chord, hopefully you should be okay with that one. Okay, so the second chord is D minor. So slightly harder than A minor. This time I'm going to use finger 1 on fret 1 of string 1, and then I'm going to use finger 2 on fret 2 of my 3rd string, and then I'm going to reach across using finger 3 on fret 3 of my 2nd string. So generally we just use strum through the top 4 strings. So it's a little bit of a stretch, using my wrist again, not too much, it's more about stretching your fingers apart a bit more. Particularly this 3rd finger, that can feel quite difficult to reach across, so you can always just try and use the side of it ever so slightly, it might help you to reach across a bit. Now if you do find that really difficult, you can always try and use your 4th finger instead in place of your 3rd one. So fingers 1 and 2 exactly the same place, but finger 4 is now on my 3rd fret of my 2nd string. Now it's definitely less of a stretch there, but you might find it a bit harder because this finger's generally not as responsive, it's a bit weaker than the others when you first start learning the guitar. If you find both of those really difficult, just for the time being, just try and use fingers 2 and 3. Just take your first finger off and just play the open string 1. So you just kept with finger 2, fret 2, string 3, finger 3, fret 3, string 2. Now it doesn't sound like a proper D minor, but you can just use it for practice just to try and get used to the shape, and then add your first finger at a later date. Okay, and the 3rd minor chord is going to be E minor. So we're going to start by playing using finger 2 on fret 2 of a 5th string, and then we're just going to tuck finger 3 underneath fret 2 of a 4th string. So we can use all 6 strings there. So again, just reaching around a little bit with my wrist, just so that my fingers are high enough so I'm not catching particularly open string 3 with my 3rd finger. Now you can also play E minor using fingers 1 and 2. It's a reasonably easy chord, this one. You can use finger 1 on fret 2 of your 5th string, and you can use finger 2 underneath fretting fret 2 of your 4th string. Entirely depends on the chord sequence really as to which combination of fingers you use. If you're going from C to E minor, you might prefer to use fingers 1 and 2 because you've got a common note there. There's more information on this in the beginner technique lesson. Or if you're going from A minor to E minor, you might prefer to use fingers 2 and 3 because it's a bit closer to the same shape.